A new week has begun and it comes with exciting Diablo 4 news straight from Blizzard's development team. In this video we'll discuss features removed from the beta, fixes to abilities, changes to the character editor and much more. So let's dive right into the video and explore these updates. First and foremost, I'd like to talk about the recent official Xbox podcast interview with General Manager Rod Ferguson. Naturally, the conversation revolved around his personal experience with the development of Diablo 4, as well as the performance of the in-house consoles and how well Diablo 4 would run on them. Xbox Series X owners can look forward to enjoying Diablo 4 action in 4K at 60 frames per second at launch, while the game will run at 1080p with 60 frames per second on the Xbox Series X. Although the topic was not covered in the Xbox podcast, it is likely that the PS5 will have similar performance to the Xbox Series X, with the game running at a full 4K and 60 frames per second at release, just as it did in the beta. And since I see this question in the comments sections repeatedly, let me reiterate that Diablo 4 offers complete crossplay. You can team up with your friends on any platform, whether you're on PC, Xbox or PlayStation, or vice versa. Cross progression is also possible with Diablo 4. Start the game on PlayStation 5, then switch to PC and continue playing with your save files, characters and Battle Pass progression. No problem at all. Even cross-platform is nearly unrestricted. If you purchase the Digital Deluxe or Ultimate Edition on one platform, you'll receive all the bonuses on all other platforms you buy the game on. This means that the cosmetics and the Battle Pass will be transferred. The only exclusive feature is the 4 days of early access at launch, which will be available only on the platform where you bought the Deluxe or Ultimate Edition. I have to say, it's really refreshing to see this seamless cross-platform interaction working flawlessly right from launch, without any exclusive deals causing headaches. Some very interesting information about boss mechanics comes to us from Associated Game Director Joseph Pipiora. Christian Johansson asks on Twitter, any word on how builds that function around CC like chill, dazed or stunned will work on bosses? Associated Game Director Joseph Pipiora goes ahead and answers, for most of the development the answer was too well. At launch those builds will still be viable in boss encounters, but it will be harder to chain stun states on the boss encounters. Christian Johansson then clarifies, I more meant, for example, one of the Sork's end caps is the Shatter Key passive. If the enemy never freezes, how does that function? Joseph then answers, each boss has a secondary stagger bar that fills as the boss is hit with CC style effects. When the stagger bar completely fills up, the boss enters a stagger state for a few seconds, where you get to just wail on it for a bit, and then the stagger bar is reset. I found this information really interesting because it took a few runs in the beta for us to discover this bar directly beneath the health bar, and I wanted to share it with you all. We then focused more on crowd control effects and it significantly sped up the process of staggering the boss. It's not a groundbreaking new mechanic, but it's a cool detail that some players might have missed. Let me know in the comments if you noticed this and whether you explicitly used it in the beta or if you didn't catch it at all. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Eric Zari also posed a great question on Twitter. He asked Rod Ferguson directly, might there be a better character creator added or are options in the Battle Pass only? More body options, faces, hairstyles. It would be better to have more diverse options as you play more seasons with the same class. Rod then clarifies that they'll be adding more options over time. I think this is fantastic news for gamers who have found the current character editor to be decent but definitely capable of improvement. Especially for those who play the game for extended periods and create at least one new character in each season, the available options can quickly become limiting. So in this case, more options are definitely welcome. Another critical question was posed by Christopher. He asked, will there be a tab overlay map eventually added to the game? I really miss being able to look at my map while moving in Diablo 4. Unfortunately, the answer is pretty short, no plans at the moment. Many gamers, myself included, find it frustrating to constantly open the full screen map when seeking information rather than having the map simply displayed on screen. While the Diablo 4 interface aims to be as user-friendly and clutter-free as possible, it's important to provide players with options. Personally, I would prefer being able to adjust the zoom level and size of the minimap with shortcuts, allowing for continued navigation while consulting the map. But what are your thoughts? Are you satisfied with the map in the beta version, or do you believe more customization options are needed? Feel free to chime in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video so far, a thumbs up would be really appreciated. And if you'd like to see more Diablo 4 content from me, consider subscribing to the channel and activating the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. And if you'd like to support the channel when purchasing your next game, check out my partner Instant Gaming for the best prices on gift cards for your preferred store. The links are available in the video description below. As always, thank you for your ongoing support. An important update that didn't make it into the beta patch notes was shared by designer Joe Shelley on Twitter. We also adjusted many skills to make their maximum distances consistent between aspect ratios, like teleport. So Blizzard has fixed abilities that provided an advantage when playing on widescreen monitors, such as the Sorcerer's Teleport ability, which allowed for covering extremely long distances when clicking somewhere on the screen. Now movement skills will have a consistent cap regardless of your screen's aspect ratio. This topic will also be addressed in the upcoming livestream. I think this is a very welcome and significant change. The Angry Tacos also had a very intriguing question. He said, I didn't see anything in the patch notes about letting barbarians use shields. Rod Ferguson cryptically replied, there's a reason for that. Well, now he got my attention. Could this be hinting at the release of a new, yet to be confirmed class, like the Paladin for example? Share your thoughts on this in the comments below. And one of the most controversial topics from the beta patch notes is the removal of the dungeon reset button, which has stirred up quite a commotion within the gaming community. Opinions on this matter are divided, with some speculating Blizzard wants players to complete dungeons rather than farming specific portions before resetting, while others believe that the company plans to sell reset tokens for real-world money. There is indeed an official statement on this matter. Adam Fletcher took to Twitter to share that a brief explanation has been added to the patch notes due to the ongoing discussion surrounding this topic. While Diablo 4 Sanctuary is home to over 100 dungeons, the open beta only had the subset offered in Act 1's Fractured Peaks for players to explore, and a level cap that isn't a full representation of the experience at launch. There are many reasons to complete a variety of dungeons, including collecting powerful affixes in the Codex of Power, and players will still be able to repeat dungeons by partying up with others and having them start the dungeon. We also wanted to make sure that resetting the dungeon wasn't a way for hardcore players to avoid death when experiencing a challenge in a dungeon. Still, we know it can be fun to repeat a specific dungeon, and the team is looking at a more permanent solution to this, like having some reasonable cap on how many times the same dungeon can be completed in a row to better support that style of play. In fact, in the full game, players will acquire sigils that will unlock nightmare dungeons, which are specifically designed to be completed repeatedly and are optimized to be highly rewarding and replayable. We'll have more to share on this in the future. As you can see, the intention is to prevent players from repeatedly farming specific sections of a dungeon without ever truly completing it. While this was the most efficient farming method during the beta, it was also extremely brain-dead, and many players, including myself, won't miss it. In the end, the essential factor is, will the game provide enough opportunities for proper farming and loot acquisition, especially considering the lower drop rates for legendaries? One possible solution is to have dungeons automatically reset after successful completion, or to allow players to earn tokens for resetting them. What other ideas do you have for permanently addressing this issue? Let me know in the comments. But that's it for this video, and if you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out my latest video displayed right here on the screen. I hope you all have an awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one.